How's it going, everybody? You got a budget Cyberdark build in this video. It's going to cost around $25 if you use TCG Player light play prices. Also in the lowest rarity. However, you can also pay a little bit more and get some decent rarities. I'm going to start off by playing 3 Cyberdark Claw. This is going to be one of your main searches of the deck. It's going to allow you to discard this from the hand. You can search your deck for any Cyberdark spell. Same thing with Cyberdragon Core. This is also a main starter of the deck. You will be able to get any cyber spell from your deck to your hand. We're running a Horn, Edge, and Keel. You technically don't have to run all 3, mainly Horn and Edge because they're just better. But I am running Cyberdark Dragon as well because I like the card. And you need Keel for that. You really only need 1 of each. There's no reason to run any more. You can search them out and they're easy to send to the graveyard. Running 1 Cyberdark Cannon. If you had to play more Cyberdark monsters, this would be the one because this you can just discard and you can grab one of your searches. Cannon's going to be the main monster you're going to equip to one of these 3 bad boys. And then when you attack, you can send a monster from the deck to grave. With the Cyberdark build, you can get very fancy, unique with what monster you send to the graveyard. One example I was trying out a few months ago was adding Slifer to the deck and sending that to the grave. You definitely have a lot of fun with this card, so definitely try out some unique things. Running 1 Chimera. This is going to be one way we're going to fusion summon because we have Power Bond. And we can also banish things from our graveyard to fusion summon. We are running also Overload Fusion. However, I do like having the Power Bond build because also with Core and Chimera, we do have access to an OTK very easily, or at least the combo for it. We're running 1 Cyber Dragon and 1 Hers. This is mainly because we're running Cybernetic Horizon, and Hers is going to be the main target we're going to send from deck to grave or hand to grave. And we do want to have a Cyber Dragon to at least, get it from the deck to the hand in case we don't have a Core already in the graveyard. Running 1 Attachment Cybern. This card's really good because when we have Horn, Edge, or Keel already equipped with Cannon or Claw, we can also attach this card from our hand to that monster, and the monster's going to get 3000 attack. It also helps us get some cards back from the grave. Good card to have to kind of push you ahead and not necessarily being reliant on the extra deck and getting that fusion summon. These next 3 slots could be pretty much flex slots, however, I'm going to give you some ideas. I think 1 Jizakuru is pretty essential. This card's a kaiju, kind of destroying any of our opponent's monsters pretty easily. Then we can contact fuse it away with one of our Cyber Dragon monsters, although we're not running as many as a typical Cyber Dragon build. And I got 2 other cheap hand traps here. Effect Veiler. This could be if you have Ash Blossoms or something else, but if you don't know what to build or put in, Effect Veiler is a pretty good option. This rounds out the monsters. Let's go on to the spell and traps. For the spell and traps, we're running 3 Cyber Emergency. Your essential starter of the deck can help you continue your plays. This will also help you get Core if you don't already have it in your hand. Running 1 Repair Plant because that's how we're going to get Jizakuru to our hand, as well as some other Cyber Dragons. 3 Cyberdark Realm, absolutely essential. This is how we're going to get our Cyberdark cards to our deck to our hand. And we're going to get additional normal summons. Running 2 Cybernetic Horizon. The reason why I'm not running 3 is because it has a little bit more strict criteria of sending something, a light monster from your deck or hand. And we don't have as many targets per se. This is also how we're going to get a Machine Fusion in our graveyard, typically End or Eternity. We can search this off of Claw, so it's not like we need to start it in our hand. I would prefer to start with Realm or the Claw already and then get to this. Even 2 might be a little much, but I think 2 is fine because if 1 gets negated or something happens, we want an additional way of sending something to the graveyard or sending a Machine Fusion to the graveyard. Running 1 Cyberdark Inferno. This does come in handy. It protects our Cyberdark monsters. Also, when it's destroyed, we get to search for a fusion spell. Again, we can search it when we need it, but we don't want to start with it because it helps us push ahead of the game, but it definitely doesn't help set up. Running 1 Cyber Eternal. This is going to help us recur something back from our graveyard, but the main reason why I'm having this is because if it is in our graveyard, we can banish it and protect our fusion monsters. Moving on to the fusion spells. 2 Power Bond because 1 typically isn't enough. If you have 1 in your hand, Chimera's not going to be able to activate its effect, and you're not going to be able to banish from your graveyard. Also, things get negated, stuff happens. Having 2 is nice. 2 Overload Fusion. I'm running 2 because we can't search it, and I know there is that new card, the Evolution Endburst. However, I just don't see this card being that good right now in this deck. When you draw the Overload Fusion, it should be good enough. Typically, when we're going to want a combo, we're going to want to go into the Power Bond because we should have Chimera's effect resolving. But Overload Fusion is also another good option. We're running 2 Raigeki. I'm running these as board breakers. If you don't want to spend $1 or so, maybe add Dark Hole. It's a little bit cheaper, but definitely Raigeki is better. If you have Evenly Matched, this is where I'd put Evenly Matched. Running a lot of 1-ofs. 1 Change of Heart is another board breaker. Awesome fun card. Foolish Burial to help us get some things in our graveyard. Call by the Grave to get rid of hand traps and get some stuff out of the graveyard. And 1 Harpies because we hate back row. As for the traps, we're just running 1 Cyberdark Invasion. This is going to help pop some things on the field and equip more cards to our Cyberdark monsters. And 1 Cybernetic Overflow as a searchable, non-targetable, we destroy a monster on the field. So typically we might only be able to banish 1 Cyberdragon monster to actually activate this effect. However, that still is technically good because again, we can search this card out if we need it. And it's non-targetable removal. Moving on to the extra deck. We are running 1 Cyberdark End Dragon. It's a really fun card to play, although I don't think it's that that good. But because we are playing that, we're obviously running the Cyber Darkness Dragon and the Cyber End Dragon, because that's one of the main ways to get that out. When we do finally fusion summon, we're going to be mostly going to Darkness Dragon, and then once that's summoned, we will equip End, and then we can go into the Cyber End Dark Dude Dragon. I am still running one Cyber Dark Dragon because it's a great nostalgia card. It's still good and pretty fun. You can still use Cyber Dark Dragon to summon Cyber Dark End, because we do run Cyber Dark Invasion, so that's how you can get, or one of the ways you can get Cyber End Dragon onto Cyber Dark Dragon. Running 2 Rampage because it's just such a good card. This is one of the easiest ways to OTK in the deck, it's just because we only need 2 Cyber Dragon monsters basically. Very easy, very doable, but you want to make sure it goes off and not get negated or disrupted or something, so that's why we run 2. And running 1 Twin, just as it's kind of similar to Rampage Dragon. However, sometimes you don't want to activate the effect of Rampage Dragon, or you just want to flex because Twin is awesome. Running 1 Chimera Tech Over Dragon. Since we are running so many fusion spells, I want to make sure we always have a target, and Over Dragon is typically going to be that target because all we need is 1 Cyber Dragon, and then we can have as many machines as possible, so we can kind of be more flexible, I guess, with this card. 1 Eternity Dragon. This is what we're going to be sending off of either Claw or our Cybernetic Horizon to get this into the graveyard, so we can then banish it to protect our fusion monsters. Good card to have. We're running 2 Elder Entis. When this gets sent to the graveyard, we're going to be able to pop something on the field, and the main way we're going to be doing this is with Cyberdark Claw. When Cyberdark Claw is equipped to a monster and then it battles, we then send 1 monster from our extra deck to the graveyard. So this is going to be the monster that we're going to be targeting most of the time to be able to pop something on the field. Very handy, and we do need 2 because 1 just typically isn't enough. You're going to see this multiple times, and it's not once per turn. We're running 1 Mega Fleet and 1 Fortress Dragon, just as some ways to contact fuse away our opponent's monsters if we have the need to. 1 Seeger to help with the OTKs, and it's just a good card to have. And 1 Dark Tremor because we have so many dark monsters in our deck. So this wraps up the extra deck. Playing the Cyberdark variant offers a lot of different unique things that the light build doesn't have. I think it's very consistent and it can play through disruptions. However, it does have a lot harder time of breaking your opponent's board. However, again, it's a fun deck. Highly recommend trying it out, playing it. It's super cheap. Why not pick it up for about 20 bucks? Maybe spend a little more, get some cooler rarities. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more Cyber Dragon videos. I'll see you all in another video.